it's Miss Bridget over at Swickley Public Library, here to share with you one of my favorite stories about one of my favorite women for Women's History Month. This is Pocket Full of Colors, the magical world of Mary Blair, Disney artist extraordinaire. Here we go. Under a wide blue sky, on a red dirt road, in a lemon yellow house, there lived a little girl named Mary. Other children collected marbles or dolls, but Mary collected colors in every shade and every hue. One day, Mary's parents announced they were moving out west. And as she waved goodbye to the yellow house, Mary tucked her friend Lemon in her pocket. Mary would miss the happy home, but she had new colors to collect. Driving across the sun-bleached desert, Mary spied russet, taupe, and sienna. When she arrived in California, she glimpsed the azure ocean and found groves of golden fruit dripping from viridian trees. In the city, she discovered steel gray buildings and mauve-tinted skies. Mary opened her sketchbook, she mixed her paints, and she would save those shades for just the right time. When she was older, Mary went to art school. She met Lee. He showed her rosy pink and blushing red, and she kept those colors close to her heart. Together, Mary and Lee painted rainbows, but it was the Great Depression and people were poor, and no one was buying rainbows except for one place. Mary landed a job at Walt Disney Studios, one of the first women to be hired. Finally, a place for colors to run and dance and play as they pleased. And then here we have Walt Disney on this side. But on her first day at work, the men in charge did not want to talk about cerulean or celadon or cerise, and they were only interested in black and white. And Mary was told to follow the rules. She tried, but her colors were just too vivid, too wild. When Mary turned in her work, her ideas were rejected. Twinkling emerald skies? The men painted them blue. Magenta horses that could fly? The men made them brown and put them in the stable. Peach giraffes with tangerine spots? Her bosses shook their heads. They didn't know what to make of her art. But Walt, who owned the company, did. He loved her colors so much, he asked Mary to join him on a trip to South America to meet some new ones. Mary delighted in the colors of Brazil, Argentina, and Peru. She worked hard to capture the vibrant scenery. When it was time to go home, Mary's bags burst with fuchsia, teal, aquamarine, indigo, lime green, and banana yellow. And when she came back to Disney, her concept art for the studio's new films grew even more adventurous as she drew upon the eye-popping shades discovered in South America. Cinderella needed a teal pumpkin coach. The caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland could only be aquamarine. And the mermaids in Peter Pan simply needed to be lime green. This time, some of Mary's ideas were accepted, but most of her art was considered too modern, too abstract, and just not right. Mary's colors encouraged her to leave the men with their black lines and strict rules, so she did. And Mary quickly found new work designing advertisements, illustrating picture books for children, and creating sets for plays and television. She enjoyed the freedom of these new jobs, but Mary missed Walt. And one day, out of the blue, Mary, I have a project for you. I need your wild and beautiful colors. Her phone rang. It was Walt. His voice boomed. Walt explained his idea to build a magical ride that would teach people about the cultures all around the world. The ride had to be full of color, which meant there was only one person for the job. Mary, you know about colors I've never even heard of before. Mary smiled, And then she frowned. She remembered the rules and the lines and the men in charge who didn't understand her style of art. There was only one way to answer. Yes, said Mary, but it came with a condition. This time she had to be the one in charge, and Walt welcomed her aboard. Mary's paint seemed to sparkle as she hung up the phone. She'd never been to places like Kathmandu, China, or Morocco, but her colors had. Sitting down to work, she squeezed out dabs of paint: lemon, yellow, aquamarine, mauve, taupe, and tangerine, russet, sienna, and steel gray, cerise, magenta, teal, indigo, and emerald shine from her palette. And when she picked up her brush, the colors Mary had so carefully collected all of her life took her on a trip around the globe. And when she was done and the ride opened, people gasped in awe. It's a Small World was a sensation. When it was Mary's turn to take the ride, she leaned back in the boat and let the colors wash over her. It was a world of laughter, a world of smiles, and color, color, color everywhere. This, at last, was Mary's world. And that is the end of Pocketful of Colors. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Women's History Month.